Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom KLS. Shabbat Shalom to our Beiteinu students who are here today to lead us in this family service. Shabbat Shalom Eva, and Shabbat Shalom to all of you who are watching us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So we have people watching us from all over the country today. And we are going to start with the prayer which we sing together usually when we enter the synagogue. And I will just read the English first so you know what I'm talking about. It's called Ma Tovu. How good are your tents, O Jacob, and your homes, O Israel. Through the greatness of your love, I enter your house in awe of your worship before the ark of your holiness. God, as I love the courts of your temple and the place where your glory dwelled, so I still worship and bend low, humble before the eternal my Maker. As for me, let my prayer come before you at the proper time. Answer me, God, in the greatness of your love, for your deliverance is sure. Okay, so think we've already done this together, but just to make sure, it's a very simple tune, so let's do it together. Ma tovu oalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Israel. Easy, huh? Ma tovu oalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Israel. Ma tovu oalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Israel. One last time together. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Israel. Mishkenotecha Israel. Right, and now the next morning song, prayer that we say together is on your service sheets on page 1, and it's the Modeh Ani, or if you're girl, you say Moda Ani. I give thanks to you, living and eternal God, that you have returned my soul to me with compassion. Great is your faithfulness. So the idea of this prayer is a very interesting one. In ancient times, people would believe that when you fall asleep, when you start dreaming, what they believe that actually your soul would go and wander in other places and discover other places and other realities. And of course, in the morning, when you come back to your body and you wake up for a new day, people believed that that God had returned your soul so that you could actually have another day. And this is why we're thanking God for that. And today we know that, dreams are, they come from another places in your brain. But if you think about your dreams, do you remember your dreams? Do you remember them? Not always, huh? But your dreams are actually something that comes from your mind and that tells you something about where you are, what you're happy about, sometimes also what you're afraid of, because this happens as well. Huh? But dreams are very important because this is why it's very important for you to sleep long hours, especially at your age, because all the sleep that you're getting helps you to grow up. And I know it's not easy because you're an age you don't always want to go to bed, but believe me, this helps you to grow. So Modeh Ani Lefanecha, or Moda Ani Lefanecha, Melech Chai Vekayam, She'echedzarta bi nishmati bechemla, Rabba emunatecha. Okay, so you can sing with me. Modeh Ani Lefanecha, Melech Chai Vekayam, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה, רבה אמונתך. You know that, huh? It's a tune that we use at KLS very often, so you know that. Please sing along, and all of you who are now online, please sing along with us, so we can have this kind of singing community together in order to wake up in the morning. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה, רבה אמונתך. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה, רבה אמונתך. רבה אמונתך. Sam, over to you now.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, for eyes to see. Blessed are you, eternal our God, clothes to wear. Blessed are you, eternal our God, family, my family, my friends, and my community.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, for giving me strength and happiness each morning. Blessed are you, eternal our God, for the privilege of waking up to a new day.
Shabbat. My God, I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize that I am something new, someone who never existed before, someone original and unique in the world. For if there had been someone like me, there would have been no need for me to exist. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei chol basar umafli lahasot. Blessed are you, eternal our God, who formed the human body to live in this world.
Thank you. We're on page 2 now, on page 2. And you know, there is a word which appears sometimes in Torah, which is hineni, when God calls Moses or Aaron or Abraham, they respond, hineni, here I am. And it's not just, you know, here I'm standing on my chair and just vaguely listening to you. Is here I am ready to really listen to that. And there is a song which is on page 2, Hareini, which is the equivalent in a way of hineni, Mekabel alai et mitzvat abore ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, which is a very central mitzvah in Torah, which means you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And this song is about being ready to accept upon myself the commandment of the Creator, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So I've already used this song with you in the past, so I'm sure you remember. You just have to repeat after me each sentence, each little phrase. Hareini mekabel alai. I want to hear you. Hareini mekabel alai. Second. Et mitzvat abore. Et mitzvat abore. Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. It's very easy. So you have three musical phrases which are repeated. So let's do it together. We repeat them twice. So we really let the music sink into our souls. Okay? הריני מקבל עליי, הריני מקבל עליי, את מצוות הבורא, את מצוות הבורא, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, again, הריני מקבל עליי, הריני מקבל עליי, את מצוות הבורא, את מצוות הבורא, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. And you can hear at the end of a sentence, it doesn't close, so that means that we can repeat and repeat and repeat. I'm sure you all love music, and you know that music drives us in a different plane. When we listen to music, and if you close your eyes slowly, you can feel the vibrations of a sound in your body. And this is why in worship we use music so much, because it helps you to operate on different level, to use other parts of your being, not only your brain, but also your heart and your emotions. This is why music is very important. But music in a clear frame, you know, we don't sing about anything. We sing about this text that comes from our tradition. And I think now it's over to you, Rebecca.
Adonai, praise the one to whom our praise is due. Praise the one to whom our praise is due forever.
Right. Can I ask you to speak a bit louder, guys? Because we have people who are following us on Facebook, and they don't always have everything in front of them. So if it could help them to hear your wonderful voices, okay? So, Lilia.
Infinite power that we are, forming light and creating darkness, making harmony and creating chaos. You fill and embrace all things, guiding your universe as it evolves.
In your compassion, you let the sun shine upon the earth and on all creatures that live here. In your goodness, you renew day after day the work of creation. All of your works are fashioned by your wisdom. The earth is full of your riches.
Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamorot. We praise Baruch atah Adonai Habocher Ba'amo Yisrael Ba'ahava.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Hero Israel, the Eternal One is our God, the Eternal One is one. Praise be God's glorious majesty forever.
Unmute yourself, Oli.
Yeah. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
V'havta et Adonai Eloha v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elei asher anochim mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinamtam ivanecha diva batabam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kamecha shatam lot al yadecha v'hayu alatar tafot bein einecha uchtaftam al mezud zot veitecha uv'sharecha.
Yeah, Yasher Koach. Thank you, Oli. So let's say together, Leman Tiskeru. You know how to sing it, so let's sing it together. Leman Tiskeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yeitem kedoshim leloechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. So just a few words about this prayer that we have just, which is not over yet. We still have one last blessing to say together, but it's called the Shema, and its blessing. Remember, it starts with Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Listen. It's really listen. Like we said earlier, Hineni, here I am. Listen, Israel. It's just not a white nose. You really have to think about it when you say this sentence. And then we recite some passages from Torah, and the first passage is Ve'ahavta lerecha kamocha, comes from the book of Deuteronomy. And after we said these passages from Torah, there's a moment where we think about gratitude, about what's called in Hebrew hakarat hatov, recognizing what's good in your life, what's good in your life. So can you think about one thing before we sing Mir Chamocha together? Can you think about one thing that you're grateful for? Just unmute yourself and say it aloud. What are you grateful for just today? Not in general, but just today, just now, here and now.
My health, good health.
Your health, very good.
And being here. Well, I'm grateful for that I'm seeing all of you. And you like it when you do.
Oh, Eva, that's really
My
nice.
laptop.
What did you say, Oli?
My laptop.
Your laptop. Have you got a new laptop?
No, it's still pretty good though.
Okay, good. Yeah. A laptop that works is a blessing at the moment. We need it so much, huh?
Also,
So-
you couldn't be in the service if you didn't have it. So that's
Exactly.
great.
So Josh is grateful for school. Yes, absolutely. I understand that. I think Sava, you wanted to say something, no? But earlier, or am I?
It's just that I was trying to say that I'm grateful that I'm here, just in general, that everyone's here now and we are the way we are. It's something
Brilliant.
for in itself.
Yes. What a nice piece of wisdom, huh? Thank you, Sava. Anyone else?
I'm grateful to all the Beiteinu children for joining in at the right time when they should. So thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's sing together. I'm waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I'm waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I'm waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I've been waiting in the me. Chamocha Baelim Adonai Mi Kamocha Nedar Bakodesh Nora Tehilot Osefele Nora Tehilot Osefele I'll be waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I'll be waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I'll be waiting in the velvet sea, whoa, whoa. I'll be waiting in the sea. Nat?
Ata Adonai, Gaal Israel. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel.
So, bottom of page 3, we're going to start the Amidah. And before we start, I just wanted to do something we did together last time we had the family service. The Amidah is the second main prayer of the Jewish liturgy. The first is the Shema, where we say, this is what we believe. We believe that there is one God, and which we believe that God has asked us to live the neighbor as ourselves. So that's a very strong belief in Judaism. And the second one, the Amidah, is a later prayer, which was because the first prayer, it comes from the Torah, and the Amidah was designed by the rabbis in the Talmud. And the Amidah is a series of blessings that also say something about where we stand as Jews in terms of what we believe. But of course, in the past, because they didn't have Sidurim as we have today, printed Sidurim with all the things explained, they had only what's called in Hebrew the Chatima, the last part of the blessing, Baruch Ata Adonai, and the rest. That's called the Chatima. In modern Hebrew, lichto means to sign. When you sign a document, and it's a chotem, it's a sign. So that's the last line of each blessing, and each blessing has a main theme. And I'd like us today to be a bit like the rabbis of old, or the people who would lead services, and if they had only the Chatima in their hand. So what will you put in each of his blessings when you know the theme, the main themes of the blessings? So in order to help you, there are a few questions for each of them. And there are students who've been allocated one blessing to think about it. And just to say, the blessing about Magen Avraham v'Sarah means for me this and that. This is, how they did in the past when they didn't have a printed Siddur with them. Today, we're lucky we have all the Siddurim with us, but at that time, they didn't. In a way, it gave them more freedom to really try to renew the understanding of the prayers each and every Shabbat. Okay. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. So the first, I think, is Zak. The first blessing, Avod ve'imaot, the fathers and the mothers, the ancestors. Why do we remember generations past? Where are you, Zach?
We remember generations. We remember generations. We remember generations so that we remember the things that we've done wrong so that we don't repeat them again. Baruch atah Yavein Abraham va'ezrat Sarah. Blessed are you, O God, shield from Abraham and Sarah.
Thank you. It's very interesting. Yes, we remember the past, so we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. And we also remember Avraham v'Sarah, and the three families, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, who are the first families that gave birth to the Jewish people. Second blessing, God, the source of life. What does it mean to you to be alive, Noah?
To me, to be alive means to have purpose, because if you have no purpose, there's no point in living, or to find purpose.
Wow.
Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hamatim. Blessed are you, our God, source of all life.
Thank you. To be alive is to have purpose. Wow, that's a very important lesson. Thank you. Thank you, Noah. Huh? Third blessing, Shabbat is a day set aside by and for God. What role does God have in your life? Oh, that's the easy questions, huh, Dan? Dan is having his bar mitzvah next Shabbat. So that's a great question before next Shabbat, Dan.
A time to reflect.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Blessed are you, Eternal One, the Holy God.
Good, thank you. Yeah, it's really not the easiest of all. I can assure you. But you know, Dan, as you're having your bar mitzvah, these are questions you need to, someone who helps you to reflect on your life. I think it's a very good definition. The fourth blessing, Shabbat is a special day. How can we make Shabbat a special day? And I think with
Sava.
Okay, Sava.
So we can make it special by lighting the candles and just resting, as that's the main purpose of the day of rest.
A day of rest. Yes.
It's not doing or not doing. It's just rest from everything.
Very good.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Blessed are you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath.
Thank you. Yeah, very important. Shabbat is a day of rest. If we don't have a day of rest, we keep working and doing things all the time, and we don't have time to stop and just to let our body get some rest, and even our minds. We need. You can't go to school 7 days a week. I mean, you would be completely crazy at the end. You need to be able to stop and to have some time to rest, to play, to have a real childhood, to play, to be a bit silly, all these things that, make life funny. Fifth blessing, listen to our prayers. What do you want to express today? That's also not an easy one. With
Russell.
Yeah.
Russell.
That our prayers find answers, and whether those answers are from God or internally, that's what we want. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadcha b'yira na'avod. Blessed are you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence. Thank
you. Yes. Yeah, so when we pray, we get answers. Sometimes the answer is silence, but silence is also an answer sometimes. We don't always understand what's happening, but also when we pray, we're talking to ourselves. Sixth blessing, we are grateful. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for good health.
Good.
Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Blessed are you, O God, source of goodness, to whom our thanks are due.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Good health, that's the foundation. If you have good health, then you can do a lot of things. If you don't have good health, you need to look after yourself and to seek help. Seventh and last blessing, there's 7 blessings on Shabbat, and there are 19 on a weekday, 19 for the Amidah. So the source of peace, what gives you peace? I think it's Firuze.
It's Ollie.
It's Ollie, okay.
What gives me peace?
Yes.
Yeah.
Being able to just be myself and do stuff myself.
Being yourself and do stuff, okay.
Do I say it now?
So say the blessing.
Baruch Ata Adonai Hatov Shemcha Ulcha.
No, it's the one below.
Hold on.
It's the one below.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one I've got shown. I'm sorry.
There's no vowel. Sorry, I forgot the vowels.
Baruch Ata Adonai Oseh HaShalom.
Good.
I'm reading the English, like this.
Yes.
So yes. Don't we? But blessed are you, O God, source of peace.
Yes. So if there's one thing you can take out of this service today, think about, what gives you peace and what gives you contentment, what gives you peace of mind when we are resting on Shabbat. And we sing together, Ose Shalom, okay? Ose Shalom bimroma, Uyase Shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol Israel, Ve'al kol bnei Adam, Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol Israel, Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol Israel, Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel, Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel, Yahase Shalom, Yahase Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol bnei Adam. Thank you. So the next part of the Shabbat morning service, so we did prayers, to warm up, to take some breathing, and then we did the Shema and the blessings around the Shema, and then the Amidah, where we discussed, what are we expecting from today, and the next big part of the service is the Torah reading. So the Torah reading is what people do on Shabbat, because we are supposed to have constantly Torah in our heart and to read it and to understand it. So today, I've chosen only a few verses because there's an interesting conversation to have from these verses. And I'm going to ask Daniel, who is having his bar mitzvah next Shabbat, to read the blessing before the Torah reading, which is on page 5.
Baruch et Adonai Havarach.
Baruch Adonai Emverach Leolam Vaed. And then you repeat that one.
Yeah, Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim Vanatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Right. So I will first lane, which means sing the Hebrew for you. Then Daniel will Then Eva Florence will read the translation, and Daniel will say the blessing after the Torah reading. So it starts here. Vechi yamu charicha umata yado himach vehechazakta bo ger vetoshav vachai imach al tikach meito neshech vetarbit veyareta מאלוהיך וכי אחיך עמך את כספך לא תיתן לו בנשך ובמחבית לא תיתן אוכלך אני Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti אתכם מארץ מצרים, לתת לכם את ארץ כנען, להיות לכם לאלוהים. I just wanted to show you, before we go to the translation, how this works, because it seems sometimes a bit complicated, but it's very easy. So I read from this part, which is what you can see in the Torah scroll, but when you're learning to read, you learn from this part. The whole book is called a Tikkun Sofrim, which means a correction of the scribes, and it explains how the scribes actually put here you have vowels, and you know that it's a, ni, because you have the vowels, and the scribes also put signs that indicates how to sing it. It's always the same. For example, the dot here is always a da 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 dum. Anywhere you find it, you sing ani. And the same is here. This is the word Adonai, which is a bit different because Adonai is written in a certain way and pronounced in another way, which is one of the few words that are like this. So it's actually Yehovah, which we're not supposed to say, but here we are. And these signs means la la la. So you have la 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 la, la la la. And then these two signs comes together. Munach katon elo echem. And these two sounds come together as well. Asher hotzeiti etchem. And these two sounds also together, the little one here, and the kind of, this chicken bone, which we find. It's a kind of triangle without a basis. No, where's it? Me'eretz Mitzrayim. So when you know how to sing it, you can sing anything. La tête, you have this kind of arrow, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. So easy. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim לתת לכם et eretz Canaan. And then when you get to the end, it's always da 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 da. Liot lachem leElohim. So I don't know the Torah by heart, but I know how to sing these little signs. So you have just to know how to sing these signs, and you can read anything in the Torah. So Eva and Florence, can I ask you to read the translation to us, please?
If any of your brothers become poor and is unable to support himself or herself, help him or her as you would for a foreigner or a stranger, so that they can continue to live among you.
Do not take interest or make a profit out at their expense, but fear your God, so that they may continue to live among you.
You must not lend them money at interest or sell them food at a profit.
I am the eternal your God, who brought you out of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and be your God.
Thank you. Daniel?
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהי נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen.
Well done. Right. Now, usually what happens when we read from the scroll, we also want to understand what is said in the scroll. And there are many, 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 many ways to do it. And those of you who are in the Bar Mitzvah class, we know that at some point I meet with you and we start discussing about what's called in Hebrew a Dvar Torah, which means a word of Torah. So there are many ways to do it. And today, instead of me just talking to you like this, I've decided to bring a text from the Talmud, which is a commentary on one of the verses. So I will share my screen and show it to you. So remember what we heard in the Torah portion. So it was said, do not take interest or make profit at their expense, but fear your God, so that they may continue to live among you. So, of course, the question, what does it mean? So Rabbi Yochanan was a sage who lived in the 3rd century CE in Israel. He asked the questions, what does the verse, and he shall live among you, really means? Or as we have in our translation here, that they may continue to live among you. What does this really mean? Oh gosh, I made a mistake. My apologies for that. There's no S, I mean. Okay, so Rabbi Yochanan told the story, and it's a very difficult one, not to understand, but to find a solution to it. If two people are traveling together in the desert, so very often they love telling stories about people in real life situation. And you know, in Israel, there's a big desert in the south. And one of them possesses a jug of water such that if both drink, both will die. There's not enough water for them to cross the desert. But if only one of them drinks, he will reach civilization and live. So you see the problem they're having. There's enough water only for one guy. So then we have two different views. One view is from a guy named Ben Petora. Ben Petora said, it is better for both of them to drink and both of them to die. Gosh, it's a very, very strong and difficult text, huh? So that one of them does not see his friend die. And another great sages of the Talmud called Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva came and taught, let your kinsman live with you, or your kinsman, your fellow, if you want, which implies that your life takes precedence over your friend's life. In other words, for Rabbi Akiva, one has to drink the water and let the other guys die. So you see the situation. It's a very difficult situation. And I really hope no one here will ever be in such a difficult situation. You have enough water for one person. What do we do? So one rabbi said, let them both drink and both die. And one other rabbi, based on, and he shall live among you, says, the one who possesses the jug of water, the one who is the owner of the bottle of water, shall drink and let the other die. So, my first question, and I will stop sharing my screen because I want to see your faces. Are you satisfied with the two options? Is it satisfying? Two die or one dies? What do you think?
I think it's a bit of a lose-lose. Either way, there's no real winners in whichever decision is made. It's not really a satisfactory decision, whichever. So I think it's a really difficult decision to make.
It's a very difficult decision to make. Absolutely, you're right. So, do you think there could have been other solutions? Yeah, Natalia says on Facebook, no one should die. Do you think there should be other solutions?
Going into the desert at all?
That's a very clever idea. Why are you going to the desert if you don't have enough water? Think about the consequences of the action. Good, Alexandria.
Maybe if you both drank some water, and then like you reached like a place where like there was some more water like around or something, instead of going straight to civilization.
Good, very good. So why are you so impatient? Huh? You know, maybe if you're careful, you can all both have some water and try to find some water, because you know that we can find water. Huh? I've got Lilia, yes.
Oh, maybe sometimes you could try get 2 jugs of water, and then both won't have to die.
Very good. Very, very good. Yes, absolutely. You know, yeah, Eva. Yes, please go on.
I think they should just keep going.
You think they should just going and walk and drink the water and see what happens? So what you meant?
No, just keep. They won't like. They just keep going like through the desert.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. You know, the situation, the solution they came up with is a solution where they don't see any other hope. And, you know, maybe they should have thought first, I don't remember who said that earlier. Why did you go to the desert in first instance, in first place? Why would you do that if you don't have enough water? So you have to think about, when you start a new adventure, you have to think about, you know, the conditions. So I think Lilia said, why don't you bring 2 bottles? Why is it, you know, why you're not bringing enough water? And also maybe, you know what, maybe let's not be desperate, and let's be hopeful that there may be a solution. There may be a solution along the way, because we never ever know what's going to happen. So why are you playing a loser game? It's not going to work. Let's take one radical solution. None of this solution is acceptable. There's always something we can do. So I see that Meira said, yes, absolutely. I like this idea, but honoring the heart and the soul is more important than clinging to life. So that's that's a very deep thought, Meira. I agree with you. Yeah, each must stay true to their empathy and love, whatever the consequences. I think that's a very important question. So how do you make difficult decisions? Tell me, how do you make difficult decisions? And that's a question. Yes, Eva.
To make a difficult decision, maybe I'd, like, if it was like really difficult, I'd try and work out if there was any other decision, any other like answers that were better than the other one.
Yeah. Very good. Don't jump into the easy solution, or yeah, there's always, you can always, very, very good, Eva. Yeah, Alexandra, yes?
Yeah, consider all the options, don't you?
Yes.
Consider all the options.
Sometimes you might have to like think about it like before you react to it, like, I don't know, sleep on it or something, because usually when you like sleep on it or even tell somebody about it and they give you a different insight, then it usually feels much better, because usually when it's actually happening, the situation seems so much worse, and when you wake up the next morning, you get another person's view on it, and then, yeah.
Very good. Oh my God, we have sages among us, really. That's very good. Never rush into a decision. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, for example, maybe it's not the case yet for you, but you know, as adults, we receive sometimes really annoying emails, and people really annoying emails, and the first reaction is respond, and just, you know, to send back an angry reaction. And the best way is just, sleep on it, think about it tomorrow, talk to someone else. That's something very important. talking to other people, sharing our concern, listening to what the others have to say. It doesn't mean that you have to follow necessarily what they tell you to do, but then you can understand things that may be alone. So we can't do everything alone. So we need other people. Okay, Amin, that was great. Thank you. I think it's sometimes it's important for us to bring difficult text and to try to understand how we would react. And I think you're much wiser than the rabbis in the Talmud, because you bring, by Josh, you bring solutions that they didn't think about. And the solution is, think twice before making a decision. And the principle you all actually agreed on is that human life is sacred. So we should find a solution to protect human life. Thank you. I really enjoyed this moment of discussion with you. So we are now on page 6, and Caroline and your teachers will read some poem, as a way of thinking after the conversation about the right decision or difficult decisions.
The right decision. There are right paths in this world to take and right choices in your life to make. Making these decisions are hard to do. Making the wrong one can poison you. They may seem hard, but you must make a choice. You can always listen to your inner voice. Listen to your heart and then with your mind, but the right decision you must find. Always be careful when you pick your path. Don't cross another and raise their wrath. So think about your answers before you choose. If you don't, you may have a lot to lose.
When life throws you difficult decisions of which you feel you can't make, it's best to go with your heart. It's decisions you should always take. It's your heart that shows the true feeling of which you cannot just hide. Know that you made the right decision. Show it and walk tall with pride.
Got it? Yeah. The chance may not come again and the options may not be the same. You don't want to live with regrets and only yourself to blame. If it's truly the person you love, it doesn't matter what gets in your way. Ye will cross all the hurdles together and take them in stride day by day.
It's not about foreseeing the future or looking to the wrong in the past. It's about a true life of happiness and making it work for to last. Don't always live a life full of caution or stopping to analyze all. If the challenge is a little bit tougher, together you are not going to fall.
Go out and live life to the full. It's only the one we are given. And if we sometimes don't get it right, it's nothing that can't be forgiven. So go with the flow for the moment and work through things one by one. It's not about being so serious. Just enjoy it and always have fun.
Thank you. And thank you, Caroline, for finding these amazing poems, which really encapsulate what we said in our conversation. I like this. And if we sometimes don't get it right, it's nothing that can't be forgiven. But it's a very important lesson. So go with the flow of the moment and work through things one by one. It's not about being so serious. Just enjoy it and always have fun. That's very important for us. So we are now reaching the end of our service, and we have readers for And Then, the poem by Judy Chicago.
And then all that has divided us will merge.
This up so they can be seen.
And then compassion will be wedded to power. I want someone to rule number 18. Both men and women
I think we lost in the poetry here. Whose turn is it?
Rebecca, I think you might need to read yours again because it got lost.
Yeah, get closer to the microphone, please, Rebecca.
And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be gentle.
And then both men and women will be strong.
And then no person will be subject to another's will.
And then all will be free and rich and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance.
And then all will care for the sick and weak and the old.
And then all will nourish the young.
And then all will cherish life's creatures. And then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth.
And then everywhere will be called Eden once again.
Thank you. Thank you. So do remember what we said earlier about the first blessing of the Amidah, Avod v'Imaot, remembering the generations past. And what we do on each Shabbat, we remember the people who, from our families, who died at the same time in years past. So I'm going to check my list because we have what's called a list of Jahrzeit. Jahrzeit is a German/Yiddish word, which means Jahr, it's year, Zeit is time, so it's the time of a year where people died at the same time some years ago. So we have on this Shabbat, we remember as a community Ruth Lawrence, the grandmother Juliet Petrusevich. We remember Lawrence Illis, the father of Betty Illis. We remember Terry Sales, the half-brother of James Sales. We remember Millie Lawson, aunt of Mark Wolf. We remember also George Goldring, the grandfather of Carol Goldring, and great-grandfather of Holly Cooper. Is there any other name you would like to remember today?
Yes. My grandfather,
please.
Cesario Medina Saelices.
Okay. Any other names?
Yes, our dear old friend, Barbara Abraham.
So when we say a list of people who have passed away and we want to remember them, we say, Zichronam, they may memory, livracha, be a blessing. And we say together, Itgadal v'itgadal shemei rabba, be'alma divarach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמך הבא מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ביחתה ושירתה, תוש בחתה ונחמתה, דה מירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם, ואמרו אמן. So, last song, and then we'll do the Kiddush together. Ma yafe hayom, how beautiful is this day. Shabbat Shalom. Okay? Let's do it together. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Ma yafe hayom. Shabbat, Shalom. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Ma yafe hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Beiteinu. You were, as usual, great. This family service are the highlight of my rabbinic life, I can tell you that. It's such a pleasure to have you all around and to engage with you. And I can't wait to be all together in the sanctuary. So let's come back please stay online. We're going to have a kiddush. We have invited the members of our community to join in this link, on this link. No, what do you say? With this link in about 3 minutes. Shabbat Shalom. See you in a second.